Alright guys, my name's Chris Gutierrez with Code 3 Motors, a longtime paramedic and diesel mechanic. And I've got this 2007 Chevy Express Savannah 3500 with a Horton box that has an Isolet lift and med air and a lot of great features. This thing has a brand new rebuilt transmission. It has 206,000 miles. And I'll give you a walk around while I'm telling you about it. The tires are like new, all 6 of them. Deep tread, and they're all matching. You can see the Isolet lift tucked into the rear bumper there. The box is a remount. It was done by Lifestar, and I think they're in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see what else. It's got wheeling lights, wheeling siren, and it is deployment ready. It is ready to go into service today. Everything that was wrong with it, just minor little switches here, a couple of lights were out, stuff like that. We got everything working the way it should, so it's deployment ready and ready to run some calls. So let's start going through the compartments. Then we'll get in the back in the patient compartment. I just did a test drive. It's Sunday morning. There's minimal traffic out. So we went on the freeway. We got it up to 80 miles an hour. And make sure you watch that video because you can really see the way this thing performs. It's got a lot of pickup. It's really fast. Great brakes, great steering. It handles really well. So here is the O2 compartment. Now you'll see there's a spare tire in there also, and all these lights will come on when the motor's running. It's just I have the motor off so you can hear me, otherwise it'll drown out my audio. It's side-by-side tanks, so you got a regulator there for oxygen and one for medical air. You'll see that both of these have a high pressure gauge on there because you can read it on the action wall inside, and even the driver can see how much air and oxygen is available from the center console. When we look at that, I'll show you that. So there's that. This compartment here is the inverter. It's got a Fleet Power inverter / battery charger. You'll see here's the electronics and the hydraulic pump for the Isolet lift, and you can see there's a handle here. Hopefully you can see that. If for some reason you have electronic, your battery fails in the middle of a call, you can actually operate the lift by hand pump. You slide that into a spot that should be right there, right in the top. Right there, and you can hand pump it. I ran quite a few Isolet calls when I was working in the field. I was on a dedicated rig for Kaiser. The suction motor's also in there. I never had to do that, but if you have to, you can pump it by hand. And we'll get into the lift in a minute. We'll probably get into that as soon as I finish all these compartments. There's your backboard compartment. Nice and tall. You can put quite a few backboards in there, and a scoop stretcher, flats, whatnot in there. Side door into there. This is the compartment where you put your jump bags and portable oxygen, portable suction, everything you're going to take into your rescue. You can see the diamond plates shiny and pops. And so the box was remounted in 2007 when they got the new chassis, and they did a lot of upgrades. The upholstery has been redone, the laminate's been redone, the O2 and air lines have been redone because they have new tags from 2007 on those. All the dome lights and stuff. So a lot of upgrades have been done to this thing. And then there's a slide out tray. There's 2 batteries down there, and there's one under the hood that we'll look at later when we pop the hood. So let me get this thing fired up, and then we'll show you the Isolet lift because you might be watching this video specifically for that. And if that's the case, we'll get right into it. And you don't have to run Isolet calls just because this thing has a lift. You can use it for whatever you want, you know, regular BLS or ALS calls, but the ability to be able to do Isolet calls is pretty awesome. So here's our sneak preview of the back. We're going to get in there in a minute. So here's the lock release. So, you know, no matter how hard you accelerate, this thing can't fly out. It's locked into place. And I'm going to have to set the camera down for a second. Try to do it so you can see. So you pull this is the release, and you can disengage the lift. Now it's got 3 pieces to it. So you lift this out, that goes over, and then there's a little release there. So you can do this with one hand, and then that goes like that. Then this is just a safety measure to make sure you don't roll off the end, and then here's our control buttons right there. So if we go down, you can see that's going down to the ground. So what you would do is you slide the Isolet, roll the Isolet on there, and then you lift up this lip right here, and that locks into place. My shadow's in the way. So now you got this plate there that'll keep the Isolet from rolling off the back. It can't roll forward. It can only go one way, which is up. So then you go up until you get to the point where you think it's level, which is about right there. And then you just roll the thing right in, and then you lock it into place. You can see there's extra floor mounts if you want to, and obviously if you're running Isolet calls, you wouldn't have these striker lockdown bars there. And there's hardware you can screw into these floor mounts to secure the Isolet to the floor. And then that's it. It's pretty simple. And then just reverse order of you know, when you're taking it out, just put that up and down to the ground. I'm not going to go all the way down. We're going to go ahead and fold this thing back up, and I'll give you a demonstration on that. It's pretty simple. Same way, and then let me lower it just a touch, and then we release that, slide that in, and then go down all the way, and that thing is locked in there. So that's the Isolet lift. It's a hell of a lot better than dealing with ramps. In the early days of Isolet transports, I had an ambulance or two that had ramps. It was a pain in the butt to set them up. Usually it's too steep of an incline for the Isolet. You know, if the kid isn't secured inside there, they can roll around going up a ramp. And also the ramps can come disengaged and whatnot. So this is a lot safer if you're doing those baby calls and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get in the back, and we'll go through. Let me sit over here, and you can see we have compartment space above this area. Now this is for stair chair, and there's some extra shelving that you can see. You can put a stair chair over there and secure it to the wall. There's a shelf here that's adjustable. You can raise or lower that however you want for whatever your needs might be. You got space down there. There's counter space there. There is more space there. There's I'm getting the hiccup, sorry. The a CPR seat, which is awesome for an Isolet rig. That's not something you usually see. So it's definitely a dual purpose rig. You'll see the interior is a nice shape. It's gray. Everything in here is gray. And let's see, we got our jump seat, and there's more storage over there for O2 masks, cannulas, BBMs, more stuff up there, airways, however you want to arrange it. You'll see there's 2 holders for portable oxygen tanks. They're set up for a D tank, but if you carry E tank, this can be raised to accommodate an E tank. You'll see we got 2 spaces, compartments here. One has electronics. This is where the relays are, and a couple of solenoids and whatnot too. Some bus bars For the electronics of the vehicle, this is just an empty space. There's some radio connections, antenna, and some hot leads if you want to tie into that, or you can just put your lunch in there. Doesn't have walk-through, but it does have this window with plexiglass sliders, so if you want to close that off. And then over here on the ALS wall, you've got plexiglass doors there, and all the shelves. That's our access to the outside compartment. And then there's our door to the outside. Here's our bench seat, and it's got a nice side window, which I like, so I can look out and see how far we are from the hospital when we're en route. Underneath the bench seat, you have a lot of space here for traction splint, KED. There is a KED right there. We'll leave that in there for you. A little bonus piece of equipment. And then over here you can see this is our control panel for the inverter. And if you hit invert, you'll see that thing come alive. And now our plugs, you can see that plug is illuminated, it's lit up, and there's a plug over there, and usually there's one over here somewhere, but I don't see one. Is it up on the ceiling? Sometimes they hide them pretty good. I don't see one over there. So you got one on the bench seat side and one on the action wall. There's also, I just noticed, an O2 outlet over there, so if you have a patient riding on the bench seat, they can have their own oxygen. Over here there's two outlets for oxygen plus your medical air. There's an airflow meter for oxygen and medical air, and I'll leave those with the ambulance. Got suction canister, and then there's our controls for everything. So you can see our inside temp is 83, and it's still early today. It's probably going to get up to 100, unfortunately. And then if you, let me just get back to this real quick. If you connect into the shoreline on the side of the rig, you know, you run an extension cord plug in, you can hit charge, and then as soon as you connect it, it'll show charging, and then you can see right now we have good battery voltage, 13.5 in our current battery, so we don't need a shoreline. But yeah, and then if you turn it off, boom. So here we have, oh, you know what, I didn't turn on the we have a module disconnect not on. That's kind of vital to us having full juice. So there's a battery, so that's got to be on, and then our module disconnect button has to be engaged so we can have juice to the back. And it's just a better way to save your batteries. And you can see usually you should have dome lights as soon as you open the back doors, and that's how you can tell if your module disconnect is disconnected. Alright, so let's go with our heat and cool, because I could really go for some cool right now. So let's go with, you can hear our blower motor coming to life, and I'll aim it right there. Well, let me show you. So if you want to increase the speed, this is our speed selector. So if we want to go up, let's just hold that thing. Yeah. So that starts kicking out. And then our thermostat is over here, so you can dial in mode, temp set. Well, it's set at 70 right now. That's pretty good. I'll leave it alone. But if you want to increase it or decrease it, you just hit those buttons there. And then, oh, so we got heat over here. Look at that. So up, you see the red light right there, it says heat. You hit it again, it's cool. And then it's right at the temp set, you see that button. It will blow until it reaches this desired 70 degrees. If you want to bypass it, you can just hit blower, and it'll just, you can take control of it that way. So our dome lights we can turn on. You probably just saw it got brighter in here. Those are our dome lights, and if I do that again, I can turn those down, or I can turn them off, or make them bright. And there is that. And then you can dim them too. They're on a dimmer, so let's see if you can dim. I don't know if you can see they're getting dimmer. Or we can get them brighter. They get pretty bright, but I want to burn them out, so let's just keep it at a moderate level. And then vacuum, right there where it says vacuum, that's actually suction. So if you look at our suction gauge right there, and it's really quiet. You know, a lot of times coach builders will mount the suction motor right underneath this counter, and so it's really loud when you use it. If you saw that outside compartment where the inverter is, that's where the suction motor is. So it's far enough away to where you can't hear it. Well, particularly with the blower on. So let me turn that off. So you can barely hear that vacuum. It's so quiet out. So there's the vacuum, and then this thing will alarm, you know, because it's tied into the medical air and the oxygen. If it gets down to 100 psi, it'll start alarming, telling you, hey, it's time to switch over to portable oxygen, or do something about your oxygen, because you're getting low on either medical air or oxygen. So there's that. There's an antenna here for a radio. You can see there's a mount where there was a radio and a mic clip, but the radio's been removed. It's a base station hospital radio that does not come with the ambulance, and everything else you see is staying with the ambulance. So that's pretty much the back here. Let's go get in the front, and we'll go look over that stuff.